Throughout the years, there's been a bit of a subtle debate amongst the Dragon Ball fan base about Akira Toriyama's writing of the women in the series and whether or not Toriyama himself is sexist. Well, on this episode of Dragon Ball In Depth, we examine the portrayal of the women of Dragon Ball as well as compare and contrast it to other works from Toriyama. Let's get it on!
この放送はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Firstly, one must understand that Dragon Ball is classified as a shonen series. Shonen manga and anime are primarily aimed at specifically young males, ranging from preteens to young adults. However, there are other shonen series that still feature females in prominent roles. But wait a minute, who in the hell said that females did not have prominent roles in Dragon Ball? Clearly a poser who hasn't been paying attention. I'll get into more details in a bit. The biggest argument I've heard in favor of Toriyama being a sexist is when people say that there are no real female leads in Dragon Ball. It's Goku, it's Gohan, it's Vegeta, it's Piccolo, and other strong male leads. These people clearly have never watched the entire series, or as I said, they're just plain posers. The story of Dragon Ball begins with two characters, Son Goku and Bulma, and one of those characters is a female. As the series progressed, we were definitely introduced to a much more male-heavy roster. However, females in Dragon Ball were always featured prominently. The best examples of this are Blonde Lunch, Number 18, and later Videl. All three of these females were extremely tough and could go toe-to-toe with just about any male, and in many cases were stronger than even some of the superpowered Z fighters. Some have made a criticism of Lunch's blue-haired form, which was that of a submissive housewife. When she turned blonde, though, she was a psychotic, maniacal criminal. Was Toriyama subtly telling the audience that women can flip on you at the drop of a hat? You be the judge of that one. Toriyama writing 18 to do the impossible, break a super science arm, is about as empowering as you can get. Notice Toriyama wrote 18 to do it, but it could have easily been 17 whom he wrote in there. What about when Videl breaks the Popovich's neck? I mean, that's some Steven Seagal shit. She was a badass chick who learned to fly and learned to fight. Definitely not submissive or housewife in any way. Besides these three women, Bulma and Chi-Chi also had very positive pro-female moments. Although in Dragon Ball Z, Chi-Chi is a stereotypical overbearing, overprotective Japanese mother who wants her son to be the smartest man in the world, before Gohan was born, Chi-Chi was a fierce warrior who could kick the ass of most human men. Of course, she stood no chance against Goku, and as the old saying goes, if you can't beat him, join him in holy freaking matrimony. Now, Bulma's another case completely, because you could make the argument that in many ways, Bulma is the most important female in the Dragon Ball saga, other than just being the first. Even though, yes, Bulma has her quirks, she can be incredibly annoying, shallow, selfish, and everything in between, Bulma has always helped out the team in ways that the actual Z fighters couldn't even comprehend. Bulma helped out Goku in the Pirate's Cave. Bulma created a translator so that her, Gohan, and Krillin could use Kami's ship to go to planet Namek, and she was the pilot. Bulma created the remote control that Krillin was supposed to use to blow up 18. Bulma and her dad were hard at work decoding 16's body to remove his self-destruct device. Bulma in the future created a time machine for her son to travel back and quite literally save the world. The fact that the most scientifically intelligent main character in Dragon Ball is a female tells me a lot. Besides everything I just said, the most important thing that Bulma did from the start, she created the Dragon Radar, and without that, well, you know, there wouldn't be a series. Speaking of series, let's quickly look outside of Dragon Ball at some of Toriyama's other works. Look at Dr. Slump, for instance. The main character of Dr. Slump, and for many years before Dragon Ball existed, the mascot of Bird Studios is Arale. Yes, Arale is a robot, but she's a robot modeled after a girl. I mean, don't forget that during the crossover in Dragon Ball, Arale was the one who kicked General Blue's ass. Another great example is Toriyama's one-shot manga from 1982 called Pink, which, by the way, also featured a character named Blue, and is basically Toriyama's take on Robin Hood, about a girl bandit very much like Launch, who robs from the rich, but instead she gives to herself, like Launch. So she is another strong female main character. Then there's Tomato, Girl Detective, Toriyama's 1979 one-shot. Even though Tomato's character is quite an airhead, by the end of the story she saves the life of a baby and cockroach. Yeah, don't even ask. Many believe that had Tomato not been a success, Toriyama would have probably quit doing manga, and thus there would be no Dr. Slump and no Dragon Ball. So, in reality, all of this is due to the female gender. Is Toriyama a sexist? The answer is no. But if you think he is, congratulations, you are an idiot. I'll catch you down the road. Remember to subscribe and also follow me on Twitter and other social media. Check out my website and communicate with me directly.